No, it's not in the Bible. But it's an interesting
Nephilims?
read. Yeah, Nephilims and all that. I would ask him about the flood. I would say, hey, were people really able to live until 900 years old?
Yeah.
Or was that
Noah
just...
was-
Right, Noah was 900. Or was that just the way that they calculated time back then? Because we know time and calendars have changed over time.
Oh, brother, I'm gonna send you this article. So it's a big article, but you're gonna be amazed. It says, it's named "There are no forests on the earth," and it has photos or whatever, and it says like, so the Grand Canyon,
Yeah,
it's like a big mine.
right.
So the true trees are sequoias.
Oh.
Everything else, the trees that we see, the pines, etc., it's
Yeah.
bushes.
Wow.
That's an amazing article. I've read it the
Send
first
it
time.
to me.
Yes, I've read it the first time like 10 years ago. I was like fascinated,
Wow.
fascinated.
Now, there's people out there, they're called creationists. I don't know if you've heard that, where they really take the Old Testament and Genesis at face value. And they say, yes, this earth wasn't alive for millions and millions and millions of years before that. It was born in the Garden of Eden. The dinosaurs were in the Garden of Eden. The dinosaurs existed until the flood, and then they got washed away in the flood. And then after that, the new civilization began through the bloodline of Noah and his family. I find that to be very believable and
Yes,
true.
I do.
I visited the Creation Museum in Kentucky a couple of months ago, and they really changed my perspective on creation and God creating the world. I mean, they really, with very good scientific evidence, back up how it could have totally been possible for God, which all things are possible with God, but they still got to explain it, that he was able to create the world in 7 days, in 7 24-hour increments of time. People believe that, those 7 days represented 7,000 years.
Well, 6 on the 7th he rested.
Exactly. So people think all kinds of different things. But as a creationist, what you do is you take the Bible at face value. And what's in there is how it happened. So Methuselah really did live 979 years. Noah really did live 900 years. These people really did live these long lives. Because if you'll notice, in Genesis 6, verse 2, which should be so obvious for a lot of people, God says, I will limit their days to 120 years, meaning that humans can only possibly live till about 120 years old. And if you look at the oldest human that's ever lived in our modern day and age, they've only lived to about 120, 122 years old in some instances. So I personally believe that at the beginning of all this, after the flood, before the flood, I think people could live. There was like no time limit. People just lived and lived and lived. And that's how things got so corrupt and so evil. And that's why God had to flood the earth. After that, I believe he put a limit on man's life to be in above or around 120 years. Because after Noah, nobody lived past 120 years old.
So
Moses lived to 120 and he died.
according to the Bible, the earth is 6,000 years old, right?
Yeah. But according to science, it's millions of years old. And a lot of Christians will try to take science and the Bible and make it work together, but it really doesn't. So I believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. And people will call me crazy for saying that. But after I went to this museum, did the studies, and researched it myself, it makes so much sense. Why wouldn't we just take the Bible for what it is?
Because it has too much truth. I don't believe that the earth is millions of years of age because of one reason. Let's take, even if we're only 6,000 years old,
Right.
the humanity and the earth, right? Only in the last 60 to 70 years, we did so much progress in everything.
So much.
In 100 years, music bands, movie industry, planes, electricity, 150 years, okay? Telephone, right? So in the last 200 to 100 years, we did so much progress. What did we do for millions of years before? We were
Yeah.
just dumb, like,
Yeah.
that's what we were doing?
That's what they want you to believe.
That's insane.
It's so insane.
And you take everything, clothes, statistics, like every single thing, like 200 years ago old, max.
Yeah.
250 years old, there wasn't a rock star. There wasn't a singer that could gather a lot of people, sing in front of them, and go sit town to town to town to town and earn money,
Right.
money like this, right?
Yeah.
Something has changed.
Something's changed.
Computers in the 1950s, like with the Silicon Valley, with the first processor, that has changed everything. Now the smartphones, every year we get this huge step, a huge leap of technology.
Yeah.
But if we're millions of years ago, so humanity, they're saying that humanity is 300,000 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
300,000. Why not 290? Why
Yeah.
not 200?
Right.
So it's just 200 to 300 and 200,000 years?
Yeah.
I have always this question. We know what's in the core of the earth, right? Mm-hmm. How do we know that?
Because we've had people, I don't know. I don't know. How can you go to the core of the earth without dying?
You can watch the space, right, with the telescope, right? It's so amazing, right?
Yeah.
You can see with the telescope what's inside our core, but they know
Yeah.
exactly what's inside of our core. They know exactly.
So they make it
How?
up.
I
They
don't
make it
know,
up.
but explain it to me.
Do you think we ever went to the moon?
Allegedly. Did you see the photos of the spaceship?
No. I know there was wind, and they're like, they can't be wind. So I've always thought about that.
You want to tell me that
We're
I'm
getting,
ju- I
we're
have-
getting deep. You're going to have to upload this to Rumble.
this thing
All right.
went to the moon
Wow.
and came back? It's made of freaking foil, bro.
Yeah.
Look at the legs of it.
Yeah. There's no way.
There's no way you can get through the stratosphere, right?
Right.
It's so much pressure and the power you have to. It went to the moon and back.
Wow.
I would never believe that. Never. If they showed me nowadays the technology and the rockets that Elon Musk has, I would say, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This thing, 60 years ago? No. Tell me about the Space Forces. Donald Trump introduced Space Forces.
Yeah.
What is that?
So a lot of people made fun of Space Force. They made a whole show out of it. I don't know if you know that.
No.
With Steve Carell. It was like one season.
Oh,
on
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
They made
Avenue-
the Space Force. I think it was called the Space Force.
Oh, yeah, that was.
And I believe that the Space Force is going to reveal so much actual truth about what's really out there. I think we're going to find out a lot through the Space Force. You say,
Come on, I'm waiting.
So I believe, and this has been, I've heard a lot of interesting people say this, that when Trump, you know how we're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, right?
Yes.
How do you ever get out of $35 trillion in debt? You'd have to discover a new gold, a new mineral, something new to be able to pay all that off, something that's worth something. And so what I've heard is going to happen, I don't know if this is really going to happen, but it's an interesting theory, is that when Trump gets into office, which we all know he will, he's going to utilize this Space Force. And this Space Force is going to be able to go into space, and with the help of Elon Musk and all these other people that are really advanced in this technology, they're going to find something in space that's worth more than gold. And America is
We'll
the
sell that
country
shit.
that has it. And we will sell that shit, dude, and get out of our debt. It'll almost be like the new currency, like a new gold. We'll discover something new up there, whether it be a rock or a mineral or a salt, whatever it is, you know. But it's going to be so valuable that it's supposedly going to
you
get
have
us out of our debt and make America like a
And you have to convince the
Superpower
rest of
again.
the world to buy it.
right. What do you think about that theory? Have you
That's
heard
mark
that?
of the beast.
Yeah. Whoa.
You need it.
It all connects, dude.
Elon Musk, bro, I'm telling
Yeah,
you, this
yeah.
guy. At this moment, I love this guy. I love
Right.
the Twitter. I love the freedom of speech.
know.
But I have a feeling,
Right. And
don't
I
know.
love Trump too. But sometimes I'm still always cautious about these things, you know?
Space Forces. Like, why?
Forces.
Why would you spend even a dime?
Because
on
I
it?
think he knows and people know that there's something out there. And aliens, another thing, you know? I don't think aliens are real in the sense that we believe they are. I believe it's a spiritual thing, like the Nephilim. You ever done like research on the Nephilim?
The Giants.
The giants, the angel-human hybrids. What does the book of Genesis say? They were here before the flood, but they were also here after the flood. So does that mean they still exist? And if they do exist, why would they live on Earth when there's an infinite amount of universe and space out there? And I believe when they see these things flying around, it's not actually aliens they're seeing, but Nephilim. And we're going to discover that. And Tucker Carlson's been talking about it too lately.
About the spiritual.
About how the aliens aren't what we think or believe them to be, but they're actually more on a spiritual level. And it's so dark that if people were to find out the truth, they would go crazy. They'd go crazy.
So from time to time, I like going into some conspiracy theories just entertainment-wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have...
Me too. I'm not saying I believe all this 100%.
It's just entertaining.
But I take it all for a grain of salt because you never know. If
So-
you believe a little bit of every conspiracy, it makes life interesting.
I have saved this post on X.
Uh-huh.
I'm just reading the questions that are written here in the post. So questions to ask ourselves. Number 1, what is an Egyptian pyramid doing on a US dollar bill? Number 2, why did 56 countries sign a treaty not to take risks and enter Antarctica? Number 3, why do planes never fly over Antarctica? Number 4, how did NASA lose the photos of the moon landing, one of the most important moments for humanity? Number 5, if Neil Armstrong was the first to walk on the moon, who held the camera? Why haven't we gone to the moon again? If monkeys evolved into humans, why are there still monkeys?
Right. That's the biggest question.
And why do other creatures do not evolve like this?
Right.
So crocodiles and sharks, they have been here for millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
They did not become someone else.
Right.
And we did, right? We were just monkeys.
Yeah, stupid.
Why does 95% of our DNA exist as junk? Who decided it was actually garbage? I have this. Why are there images in ancient Egyptian art that resemble spaceships? Why were remains and images of giant people found? And why do different ancient scriptures from various cultures, including the Bible, talk about giants? Why is there so much blatant satanic symbolism in the music and entertainment industry?
And it's always been that way. People want to act like that's something new.
It's nothing new under the
It's
sun.
not new.
Why is alcohol and tobacco poisoning considered normal and referred to simply as drinking and smoking? I'm just a drinker.
And why is it illegal?
Why is it legal?
I mean, so if
It
we're
kills
making
millions of
we're
people
making
every year.
alcohol legal, and it's been legal for forever, and yet weed has just become legal. And I think in some instances, alcohol is more dangerous than weed. I think more people have died from alcohol than weed.
Of course.
Way many more.
You
yet-
almost
yet-
can't die from weed, right?
No, but then weed, why has weed always been
From overdosing.
illegal? Now, I personally don't partake in either. But for those who do, it's like, why did it take so long for marijuana to become legal? But with alcohol, which is very dangerous. I mean,
Extremely.
so dangerous. And it does something to you where you're just a different person. Why did it take so long for that to become... Why was alcohol always legal, but weed not?
Because they can benefit from it. And from alcohol benefits the whole humanity. So the one who buys it, he gets into altered reality, right?
Yeah.
He does not commit a suicide because he's depressed, right? He just drinks and he's good. He just falls asleep. The manufacturers earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
The government get a lot of taxes from it.
Yeah.
You sell it, you buy taxes. You buy it, you buy taxes. Mm-hmm. Billions, trillions every year.
So much.
So much. The same with cigarettes, the same with everything. So once they realize how to monetize opioids, they're already monetized with Oxycontin and etc. Once they realize how to monetize weed, it's going to be here for all the time, and everyone is going to buy it because it's only the US where it's legal, right? In Europe,
so.
It's not.
Yeah, is
So
that
you
true?
can go to prison. Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it's only not even the Netherlands, but only the Amsterdam, where it's illegal.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Some of the drugs are legal.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to prison in Lithuania, for instance, if you have some weed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And everybody does that. I
Right.
did that when I was 14 to 15 years old.
And you could have gone to prison?
I don't think so. I just I didn't carry much. I carried one joint, right? I smoke it.
right.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
So I could get in trouble. I could get killed by my dad.
Yeah, of course.
If he found out,
Yeah.
he would freaking kill me
Right.
right away.
Yeah.
That's why I was sneaking every time I was smoking.
Yeah, you're getting out of there.
I was shitting my pants. He would know that.
Oh man,
It's crazy.
that's so funny.
Charlie, so